Mark was not happy Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see the guys respond the way that you all wanted them from
Definitely.
that?
Today, yeah. We all echoed that message, both offense, defense, special teams. We all wanted to echo that message that Coach, talked to the guys about Saturday. And I thought they did a nice job responding. It's just now, how do we continue to try to stack blocks, stack days, and not have two up, one down, like I've kind of mentioned to you guys in the past, is trying to be able to do a good job of every single day that we come out here, bringing the right energy, the right enthusiasm, and playing the game physically. That's what this brand of football that we play here. Kentucky's supposed to be physical, and I think we did some nice things today.
He was talking about needing leaders to him.
Yeah.
How hard is that for Devin? Because you want your quarterback to be a leader, but I'm sure he's still trying to find his spot in this locker room.
That's exactly right. It's not easy right away. He's more right now the lead by example, trying to do the right things. He's trying to learn the offense and all that. And by nature, he's not really a fiery guy. But he's up here every single day with all the wideouts and all the tight ends watching film, and he does all the right things in terms of the things that you're asking the quarterback to do. So once, I think, after spring and he gains a little bit more of these guys' respect and relationships with those guys, I think maybe he can take the next step from a leadership standpoint.
You think that's the right step? Like, he doesn't need to push it now?
No. It's not anything that needs to occur right now. He needs to kind of more so worry about himself, stay in his lane in a sense, while also reaching and touching these kids in terms of, hey, maybe after the play, just going and grabbing them and talking about maybe what they saw and what they could do better on that play. But in terms of vocally and being out in front, it's probably just not the time right now.
Do you think it's better now than say, August to be trying to figure out, who the leaders are, who's going to step up, and it gives you kind of that cushion to figure that out?
For sure. We always talk about spring being about development, and whereas training camp's really competition, right? Competition because you're getting ready to go play a game. Luckily for us right now, we're not going to play a game. But it allows us time to develop these kids in terms of both obviously on the field, but also off the field, all right, in the classroom, all right, socially. How do we get these kids to be able to do the right things all the time and then come in and be a leader? We have time to develop that, and we have so many new faces. I was kind of reading Eli Cox's notes last week, and I really agreed with him. Some of these guys don't even really know each other that well. So it is hard once you haven't really done this quite yet and then get out in front and start talking that talk. You better have their respect first, and this is the time for it. So I am glad that it's happening now as opposed to the fall.
How do you kind of balance the stressing the physicality, but in an offense where it's a little more outside zone, it's a little more throwing the football?
It's more so right now the balance, because we have three of our road dogs at tight end out. We have Bates, you got Dingle, and you got Caddis out right now, which is that's difficult on an offense when you're trying to establish a run game and get better at running the football. I think we took huge steps today running the football. Did some really good things. I thought Ray Davis really showed up in a nice way today. Jagger Burton's taken huge steps for us. So it's more, all right, how do we focus on the five, O-line, and the back in the run game? And then maybe we get some of the wideouts involved in doing some different things in the quarterback, because at the point of attack, we don't have that guy right now. Because Isaiah Cummings and Kamari Anderson, those guys are young. It's not really their deal. So I thought today was a step in the right direction in terms of running the football and being physical like we're trying to be.
What do you like about Ray's skill set? How does you envision him?
He's got really good vision. He's a one-cut back. He made a few today, boy, that he just kind of rode the wave, and then once it cleared, and he was right through the hole. So I think he has good vision. He's a smart player. He's a really smart football player. He's a smart kid. And he understands all the combinations. He understands, he wants to know the why behind all the runs. So I think that really gives him a leg up in terms of his knowledge of the game and what things are happening up in front of him to be able to give him the best possibility to be successful, which I thought he had a really good day today.
I think you mentioned Jagger.
Yeah.
How much more comfortable is he getting? I don't think people realize how hard that position is if you've never done it before.
Hey, the last 3 days, today I don't know if he'd say he had the best of the three, but his previous two, all right, were really good. If I was taking one positive out of the last couple practices, really, it was Jagger in a couple ways in terms of getting better, the snaps, comfort level, playing that position, making the calls. He took a huge step over the last few days, which I was really happy to see. And it is not easy. When you haven't touched the football every play, and you have to now do that and make the calls and snap and communicate, and then, by the way, go block a behemoth, it's not easy to do. So I was really pleased with him over the last few days.
How does this translate his athleticism as to what you all going to try to do?
Really good. I'd love to be able to get some of the things going in terms of maybe we can start pulling him a little bit and using him on the edge and the perimeter. And it fits his mold, his body type. You look at the Jason Kelce's of the world, guys like that in terms of, if you're talking about comps in terms of body comp, very similar in a lot of ways. Jagger's athletic, not as big as some of the other guys, but he can use that athleticism to his advantage, all right, by being able to work on angles and reach block and things like that. So it gives us some flexibility. By the way, we can just flip-flop him and Eli back. So this is great learning experience for both of those guys.
In addition to the development part of spring, it's also a big recruiting time.
Yeah.
How have you kind of had to reintegrate yourself, and is there some guys that you may have already had established relationships with that you can kind of just pick back up?
So every day we're kind of meeting at 3:30 with the recruiting staff. We've been doing this for the last X amount of weeks, or last 2 months really, where every day we're doing football. Like right now we'll go watch the film as a staff, break for lunch, in the afternoon get ready for really tomorrow's walkthrough and all that, and then at 3:30 this afternoon we'll get with the recruiting staff and we're watching film. We got kids on FaceTime, and we're kind of doing it as a group together every day, and every day is a new position group. So I think we're doing a nice job in terms of being on the same page, knowing the guys that we're trying to target right now. And then obviously when you've had some prior relationships with guys that maybe we were in on really early when I was here the first time, that helps us build that relationship and to be able to hopefully take it to the next level.
In that evaluating process, is your voice maybe louder this go around than previous
I would
times?
say, probably a little bit, just in terms of, I didn't really 100% know what we were always looking for in terms of just, I wasn't here for that long of recruiting. It was COVID that first spring. So we weren't on the road, we weren't really doing much. Kids weren't coming on campus. And then the summer we had camp here, which really helped me kind of really get a gauge for some of the players and things like that. And this go around, you kind of have a better feel for the numbers, now the portal, and all those kind of things, and being able to really kind of work it as you would in an NFL roster.
Man, when you're looking at guys as a group in the recruiting process, is there a position that's maybe the toughest to evaluate as a group, or leads to the most debate?
I think quarterback's one of them. Quarterback's a difficult position to evaluate at this level. Until you really get with them and work with them in person, it's hard at times to watch a huddle tape, sometimes from like 8 miles in the sky, and see a kid's motion and how he can play the game. So I'd say quarterback in terms of, we got to get him on campus, we got to see him in person to be able to do that. Wideouts is kind of easy. You see the guy toasting somebody, man, they might have a chance, Tight end can be a little bit difficult. Well, these guys have done a great job evaluating and recruiting tight ends. That's one where you're like, all right, am I going after a big wideout, right? Or am I going after somebody who maybe played a little bit like inline, tight end, a bigger guy, where you have to maybe look at the differences in some of those positions. And then running back can be a little bit difficult at times as well, because don't know the competition he's playing against. He might be making these guys look like fools, but who's he playing against and things like that. But those are the things I'm looking at right now, which is, I think, helping my evaluation process as we move forward.
Liam, you were talking about Ray. He described the circuitous route he took to get here.
Yeah.
And I got to think that forces a kid to grow up pretty quickly. How much of that do you think helps when it comes to the football?
Enormously. I sat down with Ray and really kind of dove into his background and to his past, and you see what he's been through, what he's gone through to get to this point in life, and you can only really feel proud for the kid, and it shows. It's a direct correlation between the way he is as a person, the things he's been through, and to get to the point that he's at right now, and the way he approaches things. It's a direct correlation.
Have you seen the video of him playing against Kentucky?
I did. That was one of the films I watched. Yeah. I was pleased. It was one of those things where you saw some of the things that Chris was really good at, right? We just hand him the ball. It might not be perfect, and it's 4 yards. And you hand him the ball, it might not be perfect. He runs through an arm tackle, and then it's 6. And you started to see as the game went on, you saw him get stronger and you saw him get better, which I thought was a huge asset that Chris Rodriguez had. So you saw some parallels while also different body type, different type of player, but also some of those tough yards and being able to wear somebody down towards the end of the game, you definitely saw show up.
Liam, Josh Jones was the guy that was here, I think, last time you were with us, and he missed last year with the injury. Has he kind of started catching up and getting back into that?
Yeah, Josh is in competition just like some of those other guys at that right tackle position, and he's doing a good job in terms of working it. And he was banged up the first time I was here, and I think he's improved over the last year or so. But, just like a lot of those guys that are competing for that position, there's a long way to go. Long way to go for us to get to a point of trust to be able to play somebody at that position. Now, they're all working on it. I really appreciate and love their work. But it's about continuing to do that snap in and snap out and being as consistent as possible.
Folks, thank you very much.
Oh, yeah, I can do one more for
Okay,
one.
last
Yeah.
one. Yeah.
Steve talked Saturday about just
Yeah.
the monotony of this time of
Yeah,
year and
yeah.
having to teach guys sort of to embrace this part of the process. What can you do as a coaching staff to sort of work through that and have guys enjoy this part of the season?
You felt that a little bit last week. Towards the end of the last week, you kind of felt a little monotony, but it was like we've only had it for practices now, right? But when you're going against each other, and we've been doing some of these things for a while now, it does get like that. Today, the biggest thing for us was, guys, this has to be player-led. It has to come from you. We're running around screaming about effort and enthusiasm and energy. We're not going to be good enough. But today, you saw these kids take it upon themselves to bring the energy and bring the juice and play fast and play and have fun. Today, you felt both sides of the ball having fun while also competing at a high level. So ultimately, you just try to show them that it's not about us, it's about them. And you saw that today.
Hey, folks.
Yeah, thanks.